with individuals and other institutions, regardless their location. So I can do banking right now from my computer. I can check the bank account. I can make payments. There are so many services that you can offer as that businesses can benefit from banks, because banks are offering countless opportunities, countless services, which we are going to look into in detail. Now, at the moment, we have a lot of banks that have come in Solwezi, that have come in Northwestern Province, that have come in Zambia. Let me narrow down to examples in Solwezi. Solwezi has become one of the fastest growing economies with various kinds of businesses opening up. Solwezi now is positioning itself to becoming the main gateway into the DRC. We are a gateway into Angola. Northwestern Province is well positioned with these two big markets. Solwezi is very close to the Congo. And once the Kipushi-Solwezi road is done, we are going to see a lot of economic activity. So what is going to happen is, when government soon tars that road, all those businessmen that have bought plots in that area will immediately go on the ground. The first two businesses I see going there quicker than the rest are ZESCO and Northwestern Water. They are going to make sure that they put their services in that area. Then businesses will start rushing there because they will construct warehouses, lodges will come up, banks will open, supermarkets will open. Everything you are seeing in Solwezi will be there in Kipushi. Markets will open up, factories will open up, big farms will open up, and we expect to see a lot of economic activity. What does that mean? That simply means that among these businesses that are going to open up, they are going to need services from the bank. They will need financial services, and there are so many services banks offer. So in Solwezi, we have the following banks. I may not exhaust the list, but I want to talk about the main banks. Some of them have been there for a very long time, like the Zambia National Commercial Bank, ZANACO. That bank has been there for a long time, still going strong. It keeps on evolving. You have NatSave, the National Savings and Credit Bank, which has also been there for a very long time. Stanbic Bank, the largest bank in Africa, has a branch in Solwezi. They have been here for a long time, and they keep growing. We have Barclays Bank in Solwezi. We have Investtrust Bank. They are located at the Solwezi City Mall. We have First National Bank, who are located at Kapijimo. We have Access Bank in Town Center, the former Government Bank. We have Indo-Zambia Bank, etc. So these banks are here to offer various financial services. And today we are looking at the topic banking and how you as an entrepreneur can access their various services. So these banks have come about to cater for the economic activities taking place in Solwezi. There are so many economic activities. What is an economy? Write this down. So perhaps we can be using words which are not very well explained. An economy is how we use products, natural resources, and services that we produce, services that we import. In other words, economy is the way we use products and services within a certain environment. So Solwezi has a certain economy. It has certain economic activities. The largest economic activity in Solwezi is mining, and mining to influence everything else that we see. So the banks have positioned themselves because we have large mines that are giving contracts, tenders, orders to businesses, and businesses have positioned themselves to provide services to a population that has been brought out because of the huge investment of the mines. So we need to understand what kind of economy we have in Solwezi. A lot of agriculture activities are coming up, and we are expecting factories and industries to come up. We are expecting that very soon we shall have factories and industries in Solwezi, in Northwestern Province, in Kalumbila District, who are going to start constructing car batteries, because we are now going that direction. You know, these vehicles we see now are going to be phased out. There will be no vehicles using petrol and diesel in future. In Europe and America, they're already, phasing out some of these vehicles. So His Excellency, the President, when he met his counterpart in the Congo, they talked about how they are going to take advantage of the electric motor vehicle opportunities. So this is, we expect to position themselves to benefit from the value chain. Economy is the value chain. Value chain is that you have people producing food, you have people cooking food and serving, like restaurants, you have businesses offering financial services, you have businesses offering transport services, you have businesses offering electrical services. All these combined in an environment, this is what is called an economy. So the economy of Solwezi has got its own dynamics. It is strong, but it can do better. The economy of Chipata is different. Chipata does not have huge mines, but Chipata has a lot of activities in agriculture. I've not been there recently. I was born there, and I'll have to go back to my place where I was born to see what's happening. But I'm told in Chipata there's a lot of cash flow. There's a lot of cash flow because farmers there are serious, they are big, they plant crops in huge quantities, and they have really exported to Malawi, and they also take it to Lusaka. So you have big farmers growing soybeans, big farmers growing groundnuts, big farmers growing maize, and all kinds of crops, and their economy is agriculture based, but there's a lot of cash flow. In Solwezi, the mines are big, the contractors are getting good money, the workers at the mine are getting paid very well, but there is limited cash flow in Solwezi because cash flow is only for a few days, influenced by the mine, over-dependent on the mines. We have really invested meaningfully in agriculture processing. We have not taken advantage of the Congo market as people in Solwezi and Northwestern Province. We have not taken advantage of the Angola market, the Lusaka market, the Copperbelt market, and therefore we have limited cash flow. So the banks have come on board to help us, as we are going to see as we go on in the lesson. So I'm talking about an economy. Producers are the people who make, who grow or raise our food. They do our clothing and other things that we want or need. So there is a balance between what producers make and what consumers want. And this is what determines the size and strength of an economy. One of the powerhouses of Northwestern Province is going to come up soon is Mwinilunga and the Kelenge district. When that road is done, so Mwinilunga, we're going to have a lot of activities in Mwinilunga. The Kasensei gold mine coming up. There are a lot of agricultural activities which will come up. There will be a lot of fruit farming, fish farming, animal husbandry. And there is a company called IDC, which is going to be buying a lot of agro produce from farmers in that area. And they will be spending $1 million per day. This is a big project. So we need to position you to start thinking in that way. Think supplying. Think of taking advantage of opportunities in the economy. And the banks are here to you. Well, dear learners, that was our introduction for the lesson today in banking. My colleague is going to take us through the next two subtopics. The next one is looking at what a bank is.
Thank you so much. Indeed, banking is important. Now, what is a bank? First, we need to actually understand what a bank is. A bank is a financial institution where people deposit their money to keep it safe. So a bank is an institution where people will take their money for safekeeping. That is the definition of a bank. A bank also can be described as a business, like any other business. But now for a bank, its core business is to make money through transactions, such as deposits, service fees, and loan repayments from their customers. So here what we are saying is a bank is also a business. Whatever they do there, the transactions they do it as a business. And at the end of it all, they must make profit as a bank. They must be able to raise money, which they will use to pay their workers, utilities, the water, the electricity, mention it. So the bank will need those monies which they should use to pay their workforce. Like any other business, a bank that it can meet its obligations. So simply put, a bank is a financial institution where people deposit their money, but it will be at a fee, which they should use actually and generate as a profit. So a bank, you look at it as a business. Okay, so those are the two definitions of our bank. Now, you are the business person. an entrepreneur. We have already looked at the number of banks that we have. We have 14 of them which have come. They offer different products. So now, by choosing a bank as an entrepreneur, you have to look at some of the products. How do you do this? You will need to visit the banks and chat the bankers there. They will be able to tell you what services they offer, Then you will also look at the distance from where you stay, or where you are doing your business, to where the banking or the bank is. So the choice of a bank is important and varies individual and business needs. The following should, however, be some of the basic things considered when choosing a bank. So you look at the distance, number one, from your business premises to the bank. It should olden days. We never used to have a bank in these other districts. It was hard to do business because somebody who had to travel from Mfumbwe to come to Solwezi to do their banking. And that time we had Zanaco. You will have to move all the way from Solwezi, from Mfumbwe, to come and do your banking here. Now you can imagine the risk that is involved there. You are carrying your hard cash from Mfumbwe to come and bank it here in Solwezi. Anything can happen along the way. So distance indeed is important. So you shouldn't be too far from where you have your bank. The other thing that you look at is the products and services that the bank offers. Soon, in the other segment, we'll be looking at the products and services that banks offer. So these, you have to look at them. So that's where now the importance of moving from bank to bank to do your research before settling for one bank, for the bank that you are going to deal with. First, you have to check through, visit all these banks, find out what products they offer, find out what services they offer. Then thereafter, you should be able to sit down and settle on one. The other issue that you have to look at is the credibility of the bank. Credibility of the bank. How credible is this? How good is this bank? What is it that we know about this bank? Because there is no fun in putting your money in a bank which 2 days after it winds up and you don't even know who are the owners of that bank. So you have to be very careful here. So investigate. You make sure that you do your research and, settle on a bank which is credible. Okay? So credibility here, you look at how good are they? How long have they been around? What is it that we have heard about them during this period when they are around? Have they had any hiccups? And how were those hiccups sorted out? I remember at one time we had a bank called Meridian BIO, I think. Yes, that bank, had issues. And I'm sure a lot of people who deposited their monies there ended up, some of them dying, leaving their money because of, they were stressed up.
Completely lost out.
So they lost out all their pensions, some of them. So that was bad. And people died. So that is where now you look at credibility. You have to study this bank very well before you settle on it. Okay? I think now maybe we can move to the services.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for taking us through the two segments. So we have looked at what a bank is. A bank is a business. It's just like ShopRite. And therefore, we don't expect to go and get services for free. They'll help us to grow, but we also pay for those services. And to choose a bank, you're going to choose a bank according to what you think really suits you. So you have a choice of choosing a bank. Now, this section we have come to is very critical, very important, because I'll talk about some of the basic services that are offered by banks, but good examples on products and services that are offered by banks. Okay. The first service that is offered by banks is savings. Now, there are different types of accounts which are named differently. So some banks will call them savings accounts. Others have got slightly different names, but basically, a savings account will enable you as an individual and as a business to take money to the bank for safekeeping. There is a certain bank I banked with, and they had very good products for savings, where their savings account was one which accumulates interest. Okay, so it's very important. That bank is actually FNB. I still have an account with them, and there is a very good package there where you can save money, especially for small businesses. You can put money there. It is more like a flexi fixed deposit account where you deposit your money, but for you to withdraw that money, you need to actually go and apply in the bank, and then they'll give you that money. It matures over a certain period of time. Very good services. So it is used for savings. Why are savings important? Savings are important because they are among the best ways of raising capital for small business people. Savings are very important because most small business persons raise their capital for their businesses through their own savings. You need to start saving, invest in your business. Only then can another institution like a bank trust you, because they know that if you can put your own money in a project and the project is working, if you can risk your own money, then you can risk the bank's money. And let us take note that the bank does not use its own money to lend and to give all these financial services which I'll be talking about. The bank uses customer money. So when you take your money to the bank and you are saving it, the bank will get that money together with monies from others and finance other people, and they'll make interest out of it. So that's why you find that the banks are very strict in terms of the conditions that they give in order to make sure that the business that has accessed those financial services will not fail to pay back. So banks are not only interested in giving you money and making money out of you, banks are interested in giving you money, seeing you grow, and also making a profit out of that money, as well as taking back the money for the customers to the owners. So savings is one of the services that banks offers. The second service is withdrawals. This enables individuals and businesses who have put money in the bank to take it out for either business or personal use. So you can have a personal bank account, you can have a business bank account, and you can decide to draw cash. So you can do withdrawals, cash withdrawals. We use a lot of cash still in our country, Zambia, but I know that there are many countries, especially those in the Western world, that have actually evolved a lot, and they are almost a cashless society. So places like Australia, places like, Europe, America, there is a lot of, they don't really use so much cash the way we do here. But we are also going there because I know that cash somehow makes us feel nice. And even those with facilities like debit cards, credit cards, they still want to use cash even when they can pay using electronic means. They can pay using the internet, but we love cash. It's a culture, but slowly we are getting used to going cashless as well. So you can withdraw from a bank. That is another service. And of course, when you withdraw, there is a small charge because that is the service that they are providing. That is how they make money. They make money out of those small interest, and it's not much for you, but because they've got many customers, if the service charges that you pay per month, for example, is 50 kwacha, you don't feel it because that is maybe your money comes as a salary account, or you are an entrepreneur and you pay yourself, okay? That 50 kwacha per month is not something that you can really complain about, but the bank needs it because when they collect that 50 kwacha from 3,000 customers, it is going to be something small that is going to go towards the use of the bank. The other service that banks offer is loans. We'll talk about this in detail. So these are monies that banks lend to individuals and businesses at a fee, which is called interest, if they meet the bank's requirements. So take note, to get a bank loan, you need to meet the bank's requirements. Of course, if it is a business that is borrowing, they'll ask you for certain things. Of course, you have to be a banker. You have to bank with them. Or if they are going to give you a loan and you don't bank with them, they are going to ask for certain information from your other bank, like your bank statements. They will ask for your financials, audited accounts, and many other things, your application forms. Don't worry about those things that I'm talking about. We are here to build you, and we want your businesses to grow to such an extent that in the near future, the word audited financials will not intimidate you. The word management accounts will not intimidate you. We are here as your mentors. If you are saying this is too much, please contact us and we'll be able to take you through the process. That's why we are there. That's why Kansanshi sponsors this training program. That's why the banks are there. If you want education from the banks, we can mobilize them and they'll come and teach you their products in particular. They are very, very, very flexible. Last week, we had Stanbic Bank coming to meet members of the chamber. Very well attended meeting. They were able to give us some of their products and services, which I'll be able to share with you. And mind you, I cannot go through all the products and services for all the other banks because we'll take the whole day. I'll talk about Stanbic, but let me tell you that they are one of the good banks that you can bank with. And there are other good banks within Zambia and Solwezi, which you can bank with. Now, I'll talk about products offered by Stanbic, and there are other products offered by other banks which are equally good. So I want you to take note of that. So banks offer loans. Banks also offer payment services. The bank can be used as a medium through which payments are made and or received. So you can go to the bank and you can tell them, I want to make a transfer of 10,000 kwacha from my account to these bank details. And there's a form you can fill in, and they'll transfer the money for you at a fee. Or they can give you a checkbook. And if you want to pay someone who has a bank account, they will give them a check and they'll deposit in their account, and money comes from your account to their account. Payments can also be done electronically. Electronic payments, where you have internet banking. The banks have now evolved in such a way that you can even pay from your bank account to a mobile account of somebody. So all you need to do is go to your bank, to a branch that is offering that service, and they'll set you up on your phone, and you can transfer money from your account to someone's mobile money without you going to the bank. Isn't that very nice? Stanbic is offering that service. In fact, I've been receiving messages that they're offering that service, so I have to go and get activated. After you type a certain number, they have to activate, then they link it to your account, and you can transact nicely and freely from the comfort of your phone. So banks are evolving, dear learners. Banks also do investments. These are services that enable a business to raise capital through savings for specified periods of time while earning interest. I talked about the Flexi fixed deposit account. There is also the fixed deposit account. You can put money, lock it up for some time, depending on the kind of business you're doing. You can lock up a certain amount under fixed deposit. You say, I'm locking this money for 12 months. Put in this 50,000, and it's going to earn interest based on the rates and what you negotiate with the bank. It is suitable. Investments are suitable for businesses that have got medium to long-term plans of how they are going to use that money. So you can be developing a certain project and you're saying, okay, part of this money will be locked up so that when the infrastructure is done, that money would have matured, we'll get it with interest and invest in this project. Very, very good investments indeed. It's suitable for farmers. It is suitable for traders, for any kind of business that you may actually think about. Now, talking about some of the particular services offered by banks, I want you to write this down. And maybe before I go there, let me summarize. Some of the banking services offered include number one, savings. We said savings, you can save money for future investment. Secondly, withdrawals. You can go to the bank, withdraw cash, okay, from the counter. And that is another service. You can get bank loans, and there are different kinds of loans, which I'm going to talk about. Payments can be done through your bank. They can give you a checkbook. You can pay from your phone into a mobile account, and you can pay electronically from internet banking to another bank. Then another service offered, we said, is investments. Even buying bonds and all those things. There are so many services that banks can offer in terms of investments. Some of the additional services offered by banks, remember we said they can give you loans. There is a certain type of loan which is called vehicle and asset financing. Vehicle and asset financing. So this is a kind of loan where if you meet the criteria, of course, you have a business that is proved that it is doing well, and banks are very much comfortable, especially with those upcoming businesses or SMEs that maybe have managed to grow and have even acquired a contract, let's say, for 1 million, 2 million, 3 million. Banks are very much comfortable with those businesses or SMEs that maybe have managed to grow and have even acquired a contract, let's say, for 1 million, 2 million, 3 million. Banks are very much comfortable with those businesses that maybe have managed to grow and have even acquired certain you have a contract with the mine, or you have a contract with the government, and they can prove that this contract is actually real, the bank can offer you a vehicle or asset finance. So you can go to the bank and you can apply for a vehicle which you are going to be using for that business. So if let's say the mine gives you a contract of transporting certain products, and you go to the bank and you prove that this is the contract, of course they'll verify that contract. When they find that is true, and you have done your business plan and they can see how they will make their money back, they can buy you that truck, and that truck will be the collateral. How nice that is. But you need to put certain things in place for you to meet the criteria. They'll ask for certain documents. They'll ask for the business plan, audited financials, and many other things to just make sure that you qualify, that you get there. Don't worry about those things, because everyone starts from somewhere. But start thinking of one day getting vehicle financing or asset financing. Asset financing can be in the form of assets. So the bank can give you a tractor, a loan tractor, that is equipment. The tractor is considered equipment, isn't it? They can give you processing equipment, provided it is within the scope of the work you are doing, and they've proved that this is viable, and you have market for the products that you'll be processing. The bank will buy you that chigayo. The bank will buy you that machine to dry your onions. The bank will buy you that whatever it is that you are looking for, they'll buy it for you. They'll buy that milling plant for you. They'll buy that plant for fish feed. They can buy any asset provided it is adding value to the economy, and they can see that this is actually a viable business activity. So the banks will also offer a service. So number one, write it down, vehicle and asset financing. The other one is what is called trade financing. Now, under trade financing, this is actually one of the most useful services offered by the bank. Under trade financing, the bank wants to help you grow. How do they want to help you grow? They want you to access affordable working capital. Okay? So it can be in the form of a loan. It can be in the form of what is called order financing. So let's say you have an order from the mine and they have asked you to deliver certain items and you have to import them. This order is a big order. You don't have money for it, but you have an order. You can go to your bank and they can do order financing up to a certain percentage, and they'll even facilitate transportation and all those clearing things, especially goods that are coming from South Africa and China. China has become the biggest trading partner now, because in China you find everything according to any spec. So the banks like Stanbic will be very happy to order finance an order that is big and you are importing, or maybe you are even getting those things locally, but it has to be within a certain threshold. So order financing is one of the packages being offered by banks to help grow your business. The other one that will help you to grow is what they call invoice discounting. So when you grow your business to a certain level and you get that contract or that order and you supply Solwezi Municipal Council with goods, or you have done some construction works at Solwezi Municipal Council, you have issued them an invoice, but you are waiting for the invoice to be paid, you can go to the bank provided that invoice is beyond the 120,000, they are going to give you up to 80% of that invoice for a small interest, so that when the money comes back, you will still have your profit within the remaining 20%. And you can use that money for other orders. Instead of waiting, once you are registered with them, then it will be very easy for you to go back. And the first time, of course, it will take a bit of time for them to approve because they have to put certain paperwork in place. But when you are registered with them, you have an invoice, you'll be able to get your money within 2 hours. How nice a service. So there is this service called Help Me Grow. This is by Stanbic. I said there are different banks. They name their products differently, and they are equally good. The other one, the other products by Stanbic is what they call Help Protect My Business. Help Protect My Business. So they'll help to protect your business from currency fluctuations. Let's say you are importing goods. They'll help you handle the foreign exchange aspects. They'll help you with what is called supply chain management. So they'll help you to source goods from reputable suppliers, help you ship them, pay insurance, and they'll bring them to your doorstep or to the port where you need to go and collect them. So they'll help to protect your business. They even have one-time payment solutions, internet banking, and all those other facilities. They even pay insurance in transit, as I have already mentioned. The other service that they offer is order financing. We have talked about trade financing. There's also order financing, where you have a tangible order from a reputable organization. You can go to the bank and tell them, I've got this order. I want you to finance it because I need to buy goods quickly and supply them. And they'll be able to supply it according to the terms you are going to agree. I've already talked about invoice discounting. There's what they call also value addition solutions, such as vehicle and asset financing, which we have already talked about. So they can buy you your truck, they can buy you your vehicle, they can buy you your equipment. The other service is accounts for employees. So it doesn't matter the size of your business. You can be saying, I'm an SME, I'm small. But for as long as you've got a bank account with that institution, your company has opened a bank account, you can open accounts for your employees, whether they are 2 or 3, and transactions can be done. You can give banks instructions that at a certain date, so much will go into this account, so much will go into that account. These are some of the few but very important services that actually banks offer.
Thank you so much. I hope, dear listeners, you have been taking notes because this is very important, actually. Now, let's go to the next segment. We are going to look at the few bank accounts that these banks offer. The first one is a savings account. This account enables customers to save money for a period of time, and they are going to receive interest on their savings. So savings account, where you'll be taking your money for safekeeping for a period of time, and you will receive interest on that, on the savings. The second account is the current account. Current account. This type of an account is one which enables customers to deposit money in the account and can withdraw at any time. This type does not earn interest. Reasons are that because, you deposit your money and you can get it out anytime. So they are not going to give you any interest in that. Anytime you can go and get your money from there. The third type of an account is the fixed deposit account. Fixed deposit account. This one allows customers to deposit a certain amount of their money for a period of time, and they will earn interest. So for example, if you have some chunk of money that you are not going to use immediately, you may choose to fix it so that it earns interest for you. You can deposit it in a fixed deposit account for maybe a year. Then you tell them, "Bane, I'm not going to get my money. Keep it for me." Then it actually will earn some interest. Then you have the other one, which is similar to the fixed deposit account, but now this one is a flexi fixed deposit. In this account, customers are allowed to make deposits at any amount, at any time, without having to enter into new agreements before making new deposits. While the money is allowed to accumulate interest according to the new balance. The money is protected because it cannot be withdrawn anyhow. But for you to withdraw this money, you will be required to write a written notice to the bank. You may give them a written notice of 1 month to say, okay, next month, end of, say, July, that's when I will come for this money. So you have given them that 1 whole month of notice for them to prepare for you. That's when you can go and make that withdrawal. So those are the four accounts that we are looking at. I hope you have taken note of that. We have said you have the savings account where you as a customer will save, will just deposit your money there for safekeeping. And this account will actually attract some interest. They will give you interest for keeping your money. Then you have the current account. Current account, we have said in this one, you will not earn any interest because the money that you have put in, you can get it anytime. You can get it out anytime without notice. So for that, they will not give you any interest. Then you have the fixed deposit account where you deposit some money and fix it there for a period of time. You will only get it when it matures, when that period expires. That's when you can go and make some withdrawals or to get the money out. Then you have the flexi fixed deposit, which is just the same as the fixed deposit, but now with this one, it allows you to continue, depositing some other monies to add on to whatever is in there. Okay. The fixed deposit, you just fix it at a certain amount once. You give them a chunk of money. This is the money I'm fixing. So that money, until the end of that period, you will not visit that account, not until that period has expired. Then the flexi will allow you to deposit. You will not withdraw. You continue depositing, adding on the amount that is already there. Then again, it will earn interest and on the balances, on the current balances. That is, as the money accumulates, even your interest will accumulate. I think that is the bank accounts that we can find at these banks. Of course, other banks have other accounts, new accounts that they have introduced. But for now, these are the major ones. Thank you. We can go to the next segment.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for that. So, dear learners, we have so far looked at we've covered a lot of ground. Yes. And in the next 9 minutes, we'll be opening the phone lines. So we have looked at what a bank is, choosing a bank, services offered by banks, and how to, they're the types of bank accounts. So we're now going to look at how to apply for a bank account. Very briefly, they are very simple steps that you need to carry, that you need to follow when you are opening a bank account. So the following are the steps. The first step, of course, is you need to decide the type of account that you want to open. You need to have information with regards to what bank and what services they're offering, where is their location. Remember, we talked about choosing a bank. So you need to choose and decide which bank you want to open an account with. The second thing is that you need to approach the bank of your choice and acquire an account application form. So the account application form is very user-friendly, which is going to require you to fill in that form. And that form is going to ask mostly for your personal details if you're opening a personal account, or the business details if you're opening a business account. So they want to know the customer. There's what the banks call KYC, know your customer. So they want to know this customer, what business they are involved in, what are the names of the directors or the owners of the company if it's a business name. It is very self-explanatory. They will actually require certain attachments. So you're going to attach, if it's for a company, you attach maybe the certificate of incorporation and registration. If it's a limited company, they will even ask you for the articles of association. You attach there. If it's a business name, you just attach the certificate from PACRA. They will ask for a tax clearance certificate and all the other little requirements, which are very, very important for the purpose of knowing who that customer is. They will ask for your photographs. They will ask for samples of your signatures for those who are going to be signatories, and many other. So they are very straightforward. The forms look different from bank to bank, but basically the information is very similar. They will even ask for a reference letter from maybe somebody who is banking with that bank already, or an institution. So for instance, you can come to the Northwestern Chamber of Commerce and we can write you a reference letter. And if you are part and parcel of this business development training program, we have done it several times. We have opened bank accounts on the spot during a workshop. We bring the bank, and the bank actually, teaches people on their products for 30 minutes, and they give them forms. They start applying there, and then their accounts are open from the workshop. So we give reference letters as Fortune World Investments, and we make the process very easy. So that is how you you apply. So you submit the application to the relevant bank official. And when the account is open, they give you the account number. Then you deposit an initial amount or a minimum account for that bank account to start operating. So basically, those are the steps for opening an account. Dear learners, we have helped hundreds and hundreds of people to open a bank account. We did it with NatSave. We did it with Stanbic Bank. We are ready to do it with any bank. Banks who want to partner with us, with the Kansanshi sponsored training program run by Fortune World Investments, please feel free, we can partner. We will be approaching you, and you can also approach us, because banks have become very important business partners. So that is how you open a bank account. Let us now look at how you can make a cash deposit and how you can make a withdrawal.
Indeed. Now that you have opened a bank account, you will have an account number. Then you will also, that account will have an account name, the name of the account. Then you have an account number. So now when you want now to make a cash deposit, of course, you cannot make a cash deposit before opening an account. The first things first, you have opened a bank account, then they have given you the account number and the account name now you have. So you can now make a cash deposit. When the bank is open, you can walk to any of those branches to make your cash deposit by following the following steps. When you go into the bank, you acquire a deposit slip. This deposit slip is also user-friendly. It is very easy to fill in. You fill in the following details. First is the branch where the account is held. So if it is Solwezi branch, you write Solwezi there. Then there is a portion where you are going to enter the account number. You fill in the account number. Then the next one is the date when that transaction is being done. Then you will be asked now to look at the notes, bank notes, denominations, those monies that you want to deposit. You have, is it 5 kwachas? How many are they? If it's 10 kwachas, how many are they? 20 kwachas, how many are they? 50 kwachas, just according to the denominations. The monies that you have carried, which you want to deposit in the account. So you fill in that part. 10 kwachas, I have 10 of them. 20 kwachas, I have 5 of them. 100 kwachas, I have 6 of them. Just like that. That is an example I've given. Then you now total up the amount in figures and in words. These denominations, the 5 kwachas, the what, you add them up, they will give you the total amount of money that you are depositing. So that one, you slot it in figures and in words. Then you sign under depositor's signature space. Here we have to be very careful. You should sign the same signature that you signed at the time of opening that account. Because if these two differ, that transaction will not go through. So make sure that the signature that you signed at the beginning is the one that you will sign today in order for that transaction to go through. Otherwise, they will keep on sending you back to say, go and sign again. We feel this signature is not the right one. Then thereafter, you hand over the completed deposit slip with the money to the bank teller. When you give him that, he will go through the money and also go through the deposit slip to see that you have actually filled in all the sections. Then he will stamp it and give you a receipt. Please here also take note. Do not leave the bank without getting a receipt confirming your deposited amount. When you have deposited the amount, get the receipt, which should show that you have deposited that kind of money. Okay, so that is how to deposit cash in the bank. So we go next.
Well, dear learners, I know that there's one last slide, but the time is 9:30, so my colleague will be able to still talk about it. But we are now opening the phone lines, and the number to dial is 0978 383 141. Just send us a missed call and we'll call you back. 0978 383 141, and we shall call you back. Please, you can ask your questions now that are relating to the training and to the information that has been given to you, and then we can actually endeavor to answer your questions. I can see that Mr. Chris Sayemba is following. He says, I'm following. Welcome, my friend. And please feel free to give us a call. Just send us a missed call, and then we are going to endeavor to answer your questions. So as we are waiting for our callers, my colleague can go to the next slide.
The next slide. We have made a deposit, but now how do we make a cash withdrawal?
Okay, we have a caller, and we are going to call them back so that we can actually get their question. The number to dial is 0978 383 141. Good morning, your name and where you're calling us from. Good morning. Hello, good morning. Okay, we lost that caller. We are going to call them back. Okay, I can see another person is paging. We will call them back. Okay. The number to dial is 0978 383 141. 0978 383 141. Just dial, give us a missed call, and we'll call you back. Hello, good morning. Your name and where you're calling us from?
Good morning. This is Njovu Whiteson calling from Kazomba.
Mr. Njovu, good morning, sir.
Good morning. Good morning.
Yes, good to hear from you. Your question, please.
Yes, thank you very much, sir. Thank you for this knowledge you're giving us in Solwezi. The question is, sir, Fortune World has already set off a date for the certificate for those students who have already finished. The second one to the doctor. Upon following the corrective measures for COVID-19, there is any way of setting a date for students, a student day, or opening a class workshop, how far they have gone? Because these issues we are giving is the good issues government is looking at it. So it's very important to receive this information. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so much for that, Mr. Njovu. We are going to answer that. That was Mr. Whiteson Njovu, who has two questions. The first question goes to me, I believe, and he would like to know if we have set a date for the certificate award ceremony. We have not set the date, but it is going to be in July. And I think by the end of the week, we are going to come up with a date, and then we are going to communicate to everyone that is going to attend the certificate award ceremony. The second question goes to Mr. Mtesi.
Yes, Mr. Njovu, thank you so much for that question. I think the best way to do this is for participants in a certain locality, to organize themselves, then go to the nearest health facility. When you go there, you can get the information that you require. We can organize. Call us and tell us that you are organized and you would love to go. For example, you who is is it Messenger? It's Kazomba. You can go to Kazomba Health Center. We can communicate. I can communicate with Kazomba Health Center so that they expect you. When you go there, then they can give you the information that you require on COVID.
Wonderful.
Yes.
So I hope that answers your question, Mr. Njovu. We have a number of callers who are trying to get hold of us. Let me phone them back, and we can get their questions as well. Okay, 0978-383-141 is the number to dial. Hello, good morning. Your name and where you're calling us from?
This is Kamau, calling from
Good morning, Mr. Kamau.
Yes.
Your question, sir?
The presentation is quite okay and educative.
Thank you.
Yes. Now, I'd like you to stress more on the, or I would say, in my own view, I would think that investing is much more better than saving. Because I'll give an example. If you have got 5,000 and then you take it to the bank for saving, that 5,000 will still be there, and then you're going to have a little interest as compared if you had put that money into a business.
Yes.
So I'm sure it's a time that you moved from a tendency or a mindset of saving to a mindset of investing.
Awesome.
Yes, and then also you have to make a difference. Which money is supposed to be saved, and which money in which you have to use. For the fact that maybe you need maybe a 10,000 quarter, which you want, and then at hand you have a 50,000 quarter, and then you take that 50,000 quarter to the bank. Then what's that then? So you gotta maybe put that 50,000 into an investment so that at least give you that money which you want. So I think investing is much more better than saving. In as much as we are required to save or to use bank services, because they're also there, but it's not all the time that we need to save. Sometimes we should do at least learn to invest as much as we want to be productive.
Excellent.
All right.
Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Kamau. I'm going to make a comment on that one.
Okay.
Thank you. That was a very brilliant submission by Mr. Kamau there from Margaret. He wants us to emphasize or to stress more on the aspect of investments other than saving. Now, one thing that we need to also understand is that sometimes before you invest something meaningfully, you need to raise funds for you to manage to reach a certain target. So there are different packages that banks will offer. And when you are saving in the bank, mostly it is just for safekeeping and discipline. So you can have a project that you want to do that is coming up in the next 5 or 6 months, and you can have an account with a bank that is offering, for example, what is called the flexi fixed deposit account, which is also called, like in at FNB, you have that is it 21-day account, and you can actually put money there. You can deposit anytime, but you can't withdraw anytime. It is very true, Mr. Kamau, that bank interests are very little. So mostly it is just for the sake of safekeeping and keeping that money in that account where it is not going to dwindle. You're not putting it in an ordinary savings account where there are interest charges there, but you're putting it in an account where that money will not deplete, but it will grow some slight interest. So in other words, you are keeping that money for future investment. But I also like the aspect of emphasis by Mr. Kamau of saying it is better to invest than to save. So if you have an activity which you do, okay, because we have some entrepreneurs are more enterprising than others. There are some entrepreneurs with the ability, instead of saving 500 kwacha, they will put it in an activity and that money will grow faster. So you need to have the time to do that, but you also need to know the kind of business you are going to do. And that's why we emphasize so much on planning. The business planning aspect is very important, because as you are planning, sometimes during the period of planning for your investment, especially if your project is a bit complex, what you will need to do is that as you are planning, you will be using that time to maybe trade the capital that you have, grow it, and you'll be saving the profits. So that answers the second question of which money to save and which one to use. So you're going to leave the majority, abundance, or you're going to leave adequate amounts in your business running on a day-to-day, but any extra that you feel this is profit which I may not need to use immediately, that can also be saved towards a target of growing your capital so that you can reinvest and you can start, for instance, getting more goods of, if your shop was buying goods worth 10,000, you start buying goods for 20,000 and you have more volumes and you are going to have more profitability as a result. So I hope I've answered that question, my friend, Mr. Kamau from Maghreb. Let's also take this call. Hello, good morning. Your name and where you're calling us from? Mr. Mishek Mwetwa.
Yes, sir.
Please go ahead. What's your question, sir?
Thank you, sir, for following up this program, and I want to raise my concern on the role. Yes, sir. I'm actually interested on the loan issue because you have been struggling with my business. I just want to know what kind of a business which is eligible to access the loan in one of the banks.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I don't know if it's a small person can manage have access to that.
Yes.
Or if I can say it in our language, which we say Kachemba. Yes, sir.
Wonderful.
So which kind of a business can be eligible to have access to the loan?
Excellent. Thank you so much for that very important question. Let me answer it, and my colleague will be able to add something if I've left out anything. Thank you. Mr. Meshach Mwito has asked a very, very, very important question. In fact, there is something that I forgot to mention during my presentation when we were looking at products of the bank. One of the products that Stanbic Bank, for instance, is offering is called the Kantemba loan. So banks have evolved in such a way that because they now realize that the Kantemba owners in Zambia are part of the 80% of small businesses running the economy, they have now come down to the level of the simplest business. We are now in the process of negotiating with Stanbic Bank because they want to come. They've started this pilot project in Lusaka and Kitwe. The next target is Solwezi. So they'll come here. We'll help them with the database. That's why it's important you affiliate to this program. And they will be giving loans in form of goods. So for instance, you have a Kantemba. It is big enough. They can buy you meal. They can buy you products from companies like Trade Kings. You stock different items there in the form of goods loans. And when you sell them, you start paying back that loan. Isn't it that nice? Isn't it nice? So those are some of the packages they'll be offering. Another package is a Kantemba loan where you can qualify for a certain amount. If you bank with Stanbic, for instance, you have a grocery store and you are depositing money regularly, depositing and withdrawing, you are creating a bank statement. They can assess the minimum amount that you can access, and you can apply and access that money within 48 hours. So small businesses, loans, Kantemba Inclusive has got this opportunity of accessing loans. So gone are the days where only big and well-organized companies were getting loans. Nowadays, everyone has at their own level can get a loan in the form of goods or in the form of cash from a bank. And unless I've left out something, sir.
No.
Okay. All right. Let's get another caller. Thank you so much, that callers, you are really calling in, and this is for the benefit of others that are also following the program. Good morning. Your name and where you're calling us from?
I'm Abel calling from India.
Sir Abel. Okay. Please, your question, sir.
I just want to ask you, when you are running the business of 1,000, can you manage to bank it from that agency, or you just continue with the business that you are running?
Okay. Very good question. Thank you so much. I'll give that question to my colleague. Thank you, sir. We are going to answer that question.
Let's take it again.
Okay. So the question is, by Mr. Abel, is that if you are running a business worth 5,000 kwacha,
yes,
can you start banking with that kind of capital, or should you wait? Should you just continue trading?
Okay. Mr. Abel, thank you for that question. You are in business and you have 5,000 kwacha as your capital. When you say you have capital of 5,000 kwacha, this is the money that you have put into business, isn't it? You have bought goods, for example, and exhausted that 5,000 kwacha. And now you are trading or doing business. You start receiving money arising from your business activities. That money, you should start banking it. Because if you are going to keep it, maybe in the shop, it's risky. Because you'll be receiving this money on a daily basis as you do business. So it's very important that as business people, develop a tendency of making sure that whatever money that you collect, take it to the bank for safekeeping, so that you are not even yourself tempted to use this money elsewhere apart from being used in the business. I hope I have answered Mr. Abel.
In addition to that, my friend Abel, it is very, very important for you to create what is called a bank statement.
Yes.
So your capital is 5,000 kwacha. You sell your goods, you make a profit of 500 or 1,000 kwacha. I know you are thinking, the capital is too small, I need to grow it. Take it to the bank and you are allowed to withdraw immediately. But you have to make sure that you do regular deposits and regular withdrawals to create a statement. So the bank statement, when it's printed, is going to show how often you deposit and withdraw, and it's also going to show how much, by how much growing, because each time you deposit, the amount is going to be bigger. So you are allowed, you deposit at 9 hours, what you sold yesterday. You withdraw it at 12 hours. You go and buy your goods, or you withdraw it every other 2 days, depending on the need for you to use that money in your business. You are creating a bank statement. So you do that for 3 months, and you go to your bank and you tell them, I want a Tamanga loan. They will give you that loan without any hesitation because they have seen that you are doing business. So it is very, very important. Deposit whatever you make and withdraw and take back to your business. And that is how you are actually going to get credibility from the bank. So, dear learners, I hope that that information is actually very useful. Let us take another caller. We have 8 minutes to go, and I know that my colleague still has a few things just to wind up briefly before we can conclude. By 10 hours, we will be done.
Hello.
Good morning. Your name and where you're calling us from, sir?
Morning, thank you. My name is Wisdom Sokonte.
Okay, Mr. Sokonte, go ahead with the question.
Yes, I didn't get it clear when you said that, for example, I'm a farmer and I'm taking money to a savings bank.
Mhm.
If I happen to start thinking of buying, for example, a tractor or any other equipment that the bank can buy for me.
Mhm.
Now, I want you to explain a little bit more on that one. What really makes the bank feel like they can do that? Well, they can do it so as they don't know.
Aha.
For saving them.
Okay. Very important question, sir. Thank you for so much. Let me endeavor to answer it, and then I think we will only take maybe one more call so that my colleague can conclude in 2 minutes, and I should also give my conclusions in 2 minutes before 10 hours. So my brother, Wisdom Sokontre, wants to know whether the bank, what it takes for the bank to give you an asset loan. That is called vehicle and asset financing. There is that package. So what happens is, of course, you must be a customer of that bank. Of course, you must be banking with them, and you must demonstrate that you are doing a business that is viable, so that if you want to get an asset, that asset has to be in line with the business you are doing. And they'll ask you for a business plan, and you have to demonstrate that this asset is coming to add value. So for example, you can say, I'm already in farming, okay? I am a farmer, and I am cultivating 5 hectares of fruits and vegetables, but I've got land which is idle, and I want to cultivate a further 40 hectares. So for me to do this, because I've got ready market, I need a tractor. And you'll be able to demonstrate that, to say, look, with 5 hectares, this is how much I'm able to bank. If you give me a tractor and this is my cash flow, I'll be able to make so much money, and I'll pay back this asset in 5 years or 3 years. The banks are interested in growing your business, And if everything that you need to put together is there, then they are going to finance your asset. I hope I've answered that question, my friend, Mr. Wisdom Sokonte. Let's get the last caller, and then we can conclude. Hello. Morning, sir. Your name and where you're calling us from?
I'm Alex Chindikinya, calling you from Torres Main Market.
Mr. Chindikinya, good morning, my friend, and please give us your question.
Yes, my question is that is it safe with me if the banker tells me that there is no network, you can leave your money here and come and collect your deposit later?
Okay.
That's my question.
Okay. All right. Very important question. And I'll give it to my friend to answer. Thank you so much, sir.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Shinjikinya. Thank you for that question. Money tempts people. So there is no way you can leave your money with this teller and he tells you he's going to give you your receipt later. No. If the system is down, they have actually other things that they do. They have backup. If the system is down, network is down, they will actually give you a hard copy. They will write, they have forms, which will show that you have actually deposited money. They will write it freehand instead of printing it out from their computer. So, sir, don't leave your money there. No. Make sure that you leave that place with something which acknowledges that they have received the money and it has gone into your account. Thank you.
Wonderful. So we have closed the phone lines. We have 3 minutes to go.
Yes.
Under 1 minute, sir, you can just
Yes.
show us how to withdraw.
Now, how to withdraw, it's almost the same way as how when you are doing a deposit, you go to your bank and acquire a withdrawal slip, fill in the details on the withdrawal slip. The details that are there are the date, the branch where the account is held, then the account name, an account number, then you fill in the amount that you want to withdraw from that account. Then later on, you sign. And the same way, when you take this document to the teller there, he should be able to stamp it, sign it, give you your copy, and then give you even your money. You must leave that place with your money and a document showing that you have withdrawn something from there. This is very important as a business person because you are going to keep these deposit slips and the withdrawal slips as records. You must have these. At the end of the day, they are going to help you in doing what we call a bank reconciliation. Because you look at how much money you deposited going by the slips, how much money you withdrew going by those slips, then you will have to get now a bank statement. These two documents should talk to each other. If they don't, then you know you have a problem somewhere. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Well, dear learners, in conclusion, we are saying that banking is increasingly becoming an essential service for business success and growth. Every business should position itself to access banking services by understanding the products that are being offered by the banks and also choosing to work with one that suits your specific needs. Small businesses are therefore encouraged to access banking services as more and more banks are tailoring their products to grow the small businesses. Dear learners, the time is 10 hours. We have come to the end of our training for today. Let me once again thank all the callers that have called. Your participation was amazing. Let me thank the sponsors, Kansanshi Mining PLC, for making it possible for us to share this information to thousands of people. Thanks to our partners, Beats FM, for giving us this platform where we can actually come and do our teaching. So from us and the rest of the team, it is goodbye for now and pleasant listening as you continue listening to the radio station.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. You're done for today.
Yeah.
I could see you were also having another separate video.